Happy Wednesday, y'all. Today we are talking with Arnell. He's a newer LIA member. We're going to be going over kind of what he's got going on in his business and getting everything started. I think he's getting ready, ramped up to send out his first few mailers. So this is going to be a pretty cool video to go over everything that he's got going on. Give him some tips on pricing and stuff like that. Probably pull some data and stuff like that for him as well. Before we get into it, I just want to remind everybody, go here, landinvestor.co/mastermind. I'll put this on the screen right here. Come to the mastermind, come hang out with us. We just Sumner just added a few more seats for the VIP pre-sale tickets. I don't know if they're sold out or not yet. They sold out like wildfire the second they got added. So be sure to hop in there and try to check it out. It's going to be insane. It's going to be super fun. We have a lot of really great guys. Men and women that are going to be talking. It's going to be really fun. Just getting in the same room and in the same mindset as everybody that's there. I know the last one was really great. This one's going to be way better. Absolutely way better. So it's going to be a great time. So come check it out. Make sure you get everything right here too. If you go to this, you grab the purchase agreement right here, click this, and then get your purchase agreement. So yeah, we'll bring up Arnell now. What's up, man? How we doing?
What's going on, brother? Doing well, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming. Real quick before we get into it, like, what made you get into land?
Yeah, good question, man. I've been in wholesaling, doing that since 2014. So kind of got same start as everybody else, man. Came across land in 2017. I went to a Jack Bosch event.
Okay.
In Phoenix, Arizona. So I kind of got the land bug. So they were selling the coaching, man. Didn't really have the money at the time. I was still working a 9 to 5. And I just I kept working, man, and then eventually I came across to surplus funds. And so, while I was doing that, I was able to leave the job and come do this full time, man. And then land came back across my purview again, man, in December of last year. So I jumped in doing some infill lot stuff. And kind of, I feel, it was more transactional. So I was like, man, I don't know if I would really want to do this because, it was just a lot of it was dictated on the market, man. So I started looking at a lot of different things, came across Sumner's information. I looked at the Apke brothers information as well. And, I kind of resonate a lot more with Sumner and the group of folks that he was associating himself with and how he actually built a business out of doing rural recreational land. So that's kind of how I, found LIA, joined the coaching program, and here we are today. So
that's awesome, man. That's good to hear. So you have another business, and this is like a secondary business that you're running, just kind of kicking off, right?
Right. Yep. That's
awesome.
correct.
Okay. All right. So as far as everything goes in the land space itself, where are you right now? Like, are you still in the education mode? Are you in the, pulling data pricing mode, or where are you kind of at? I lose you there?
Yep. Sorry about that. Yeah. Sorry about that, man.
It's all good.
Yeah. So right now, man, I'm in the so I extracted some data. Got about 5 or 6 different states that I'm in.
Okay.
I pulled the stuff. I'm a Land Insights user. So, once I extract the data, I upload it there to, look at the landlocked properties. Now I'm getting ready. I want to send out my first mailer to Geneva County, Alabama. And so I've kind of priced it out. I just want to make sure that I'm on the right path, so to speak. And, I looked at a lot of videos, in the education, and I see that pricing just takes reps, man. And I see a lot of people probably struggle with that at first. So I just want to make sure I'm on the right path before I go down too far and end up just wasting money on the mailer. So.
Yep. I completely agree. All right. So cool. Let's take a look kind of what you got. What I'll do is I don't want to go and kind of show your data or anything like that because we're on, YouTube. What I'll do is I'll go into Geneva County and I'll look at what I think pricing should be.
Okay.
And from there, you could kind of just glean kind of what you think it should be. Um, as far as your data itself, where are you getting it from? Is it from like data tree or where are we at?
Yeah, getting everything from data
Okay,
tree.
cool. And then you scrubbed it.
Yeah, man, I was doing I was manually scrubbing it
Yeah,
in
it's
data
painful.
tree and in land ID, man. It was killing me. So I said, man, I
Yeah.
got to get land insight. So that's where I'm going, but it's still taking, I know the AI isn't 100%. I think it's like 92% right now or something like that.
Mhm.
And it's still taking me a while to go through all those lines, you know. So,
Yep.
you know, kind of stuck there, man. I know it's too early to hire VA. I don't want to hire, spend that type of money before I make any. So,
It's hard to even articulate what you want from a VA if you haven't done it yet. You
right.
kind of need to do the thing so you could then tell somebody how to do the thing, right? That's kind of like the biggest thing too. So it's still definitely too early for that. I would say at the end of the day, your first market's always going to be like the one that you're most scared of, right? Because you haven't done it yet. You don't have proof of concept, right? It doesn't work yet. Even though you see the proof is in the pudding with other people, you haven't physically done it yourself, right? You need to prove it to yourself. So that's going to be always the hardest part. Um, I guess another thing to look at too is when you're just getting started. I think a couple big tips are don't reach too far sometimes. Like maybe don't go for the bigger properties yet. Maybe focus on some of these smaller like base hits right now. What were the price points you were kind of looking at?
So between, let me see, I'll take a look at it right here. Between 70 and probably about 40 to 150, 160,000, somewhere around there.
Okay, purchase price or market price of 40?
That's market price. So purchase
Okay.
price starting off at about 35, somewhere around there.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, so we see you see a lot more activity happening in these smaller properties, even though they're a lot like harder to deal with sometimes. Um, like basically the 5 for 15, sell for 30s, things like that. You're gonna get a lot more activity. Um, just because there's more of those properties, and it's a lot easier for a person to say, like, hey, I'm willing to let go of a $15,000 property versus somebody saying, I'm willing to let go of a $150,000 property, right?
Right.
So sometimes it's okay to start a little smaller and get your feet wet, especially if you're looking for that success in that campaign. Um, so I'd say maybe expand your marketing to a little bit lower end of properties, like market price of like 30K. So you're buying at 15K or buying it. Maybe you're going to offer, 12,500 for a $30,000 property, right? Something like that. So you build
Okay.
in some spread. At the end of the day, once you list with the realtor and do all that stuff, you'll make 7 grand, 8 grand, whatever. It's going to pay more than pay for your mailers, right? Just one deal. Okay.
Right.
So that's a thought, especially in the beginning when you're just trying to build a pipeline of leads. It's okay to go a little smaller and then ramp your way up. Like for us, we focus primarily we focus on um, deals that make us at least 30 grand. So our spreads are typically we look for a 50K spread so that realtor and lender gets paid. Then we have 30K left over for us in the middle.
Right.
But that's not something that everybody should start with, right? It's because I have a little more experience and I have some more funds behind me that I could just kind of throw at it. Maybe I don't get a deal for a couple weeks, but I know when they do come in, it's like we're good, right? I'm not
Yeah.
going to run out of marketing dollars. So sometimes it's okay to go a little smaller and get a couple like really small base hits. And then boom, then after that, now you've done 3, 4, 5, 6 deals and you keep going. But while you're marketing for those smaller ones, you'll get a couple bigger, you're going to market for a couple bigger ones too, right? Maybe the buy for 150, sell for 300s, things like that, right?
Right. Right.
You're less likely to get those. Your KPIs are super like way lower for those types of deals than they are for the smaller deals. Like you'll probably get a contract rate of like 1 out of 1,200, 1 out of 1,500 letters will be a close rate. So you'll probably contract 1 out of like 750 and actually close 1 out of 1,500 for the smaller end of properties. But bigger properties, you're going to probably have to send about 5 or 6,000 letters to get one bigger property, right? It's because it's just, you know, Those people are typically a little bit more in tune with the market, things like that.
Yeah.
So maybe look into that, maybe expanding that a little bit, your criteria. I know you said you have a couple counties you're going to do.
Right.
Yeah, so maybe hit some, bring in some lower end of properties, and then extend. I would shorten up that range instead of extending it too far. Shorten up that range so you're getting more mail out in the smaller sectors, so that you kind of grow with it. Now you'll see, like, this is going to get to be something where you're like, all right, these smaller properties just kind of suck. They're not worth it. Fine, like, it's okay to grow into that next phase, right? But first, let's fill your pockets up with some money so that you can grow into that next phase pretty quickly.
Yeah. Let me ask this, Dennis.
Yeah.
So your KPIs, man, you and Rob, when you're sending, are you tracking those weekly? So when you send mail out, obviously you're going to send the number, you're going to track the number you sent out, and then your response rates and all that stuff. Is that something that you guys are doing on a monthly basis? How frequently are you doing that, just to make sure you keep track of everything?
KPIs get updated every single Monday. Okay. Every Monday they get updated. So but right now it's easy to say that because I have somebody doing it for me, right? So when you're doing it yourself, you're probably going to fall behind and whatever. It just happens. It is what it is. But if you're tracking your KPIs, ideally at least once a month is ideal, because you want to see month to month, are you growing? Are you shrinking? What's the mail doing, right? So definitely, I mean, inside LIA, Sumner talks a lot about the KPI stuff. I think it's a whole couple KPI videos, but me personally, I like to do it every single Monday. We just update our KPIs with all leads and anything that happened throughout the week, right? This way we could kind of refocus ourselves and see what's going on. And there's every business tracks different things, different KPIs, okay? Sumner has a great suggestion list of what he tracks in his KPIs. His KPI tracker is very expansive. In the beginning, at the end of the day, there's a couple little things you need to capture. I would say they're going to be like, what mail are you sending? How much, like the volume and everything like that. And then how many leads come in, even if they're like, take me off your list, track those, and then track how many are good leads. So you could see, okay, I'm getting this many calls, but only half of them are qualified leads. And then, how many go into contract, how many close, things like that, right? In the beginning, you don't have a lot of KPIs because you don't have a lot of things, but it's good to start tracking that stuff so that you could see, okay, Geneva County, I mailed that and I got, I put 1,500 letters out and I got 20 calls. Okay, what's my response rate, right? If you're seeing less than a 3%, 0.3% response rate, that's something you should question. Is my pricing wrong? Did I do something wrong in the mailer? Things like that.
Okay.
If you're seeing like 0.7, 0.8, 1% response rate, that's when you got to question, did I offer too much? So you want that like sweet spot of like 0.5%. That's like the ideal for blind offers, like 0.5%, 0.6%. That's a really good sweet spot for pricing. Okay. For a response rate. And then once you're once you're tracking all that stuff, it'll definitely help you like kind of like figure out like, okay, Geneva didn't work, but this county over here worked really good. I think I got a lot of mail. I got a lot of responses back. So let me remail that county because I got a lot of responses. Or another factor is like, hey, I mailed this county. I got one response, but it ended up being a contract. I bought the property and this is what I bought it for. And this is what I'm going to sell it for. Right. Once you know that data too, then it's like, well, I know this data now. Let me go reprice that market again and try remailing it because I saw some success and I kind of know a little bit more about the market. Kay Walker asked, what's considered bigger or smaller price wise? So bigger or smaller price wise is going to be subjective, right? Like I don't do any deals like under. I try to stay away from like $75,000 market price or more is what I typically shoot for. Some people are buying lots for $1,000 and selling them for $3,000 or $5,000. Very common. So that would be smaller. And then there's people that are buying for $10,000, selling for $20,000 or $30,000. I'd consider that smaller. I think typically anything under like $40,000 50,000 is typically like a smaller kind of deal where it's like something you could buy. Like at that point, under like 50K, I'm probably gonna offer like less than 50% of market, maybe like closer to like 45, 35, just because I need a little bit more spread so I can add in closing costs and all that jazz. So yeah, so okay, so back to Geneva County, right? That's one of the ones that pricing has been difficult on?
Yeah, and it may not be difficult for you. It's just me trying to, just get the hang of it. So yeah, that's one I've been kind of toying around with. And once you price it out, I'll kind of let you know what I have as well for each
Okay.
acreage.
So as far as everything goes, what was like, did you look at the Genie and stuff like that for this parcel?
I did. Let me pull it. I did look at the Genie, and
Okay.
actually I looked at it when I had my land insights demo with Ari. We kind of went through and we looked at that market together, and he said, yeah, it's pretty decent market, man. May want to look into that one. So
yeah, I just mailed Geneva County, so yeah, it is a good market. All right, so what I would say with this now, just quick look. So what I did is I'll go sold, and I'll do land 1 year, and I'll do like 5 to 10, 4 to 10, something like that, right? Now you just want to look at you could just look at the price per acres. Obviously, whatever, there's gonna be some. So you got like 30,000, 28,000. I'm just looking at what the price per acres are trading for and just kind of seeing what they're going around. So 18, 19, you got 27, 15. There's some high outliers here. You could see over here. There's a high one. Let's keep looking. Yeah, they're kind of a little bit all over the place. So going by this, let's see what this one is. Got a 300,000. Where are you? So this is 10 acres. This sold for 30K an acre, but then this sold for 12K an acre, and these sold for 10K an acre, 15K an acre. Oh no, less than that. Oh, more than that. These sold for 30K an acre. So we got some outliers. We got some decent ones. I do see it's kind of a little bit all over the place. Let me check the next acreage range. Actually, let me do this too, because like I was suggesting, maybe sometimes the smaller properties might be a little good thing to get started on. Let's check the 1 to 5, 1 to 4s actually, and just see what pricing would look there. So there's a lot of activity in the 1 to 4 range in the past year.
okay.
Let's button this up to a little bit close. So let's do 6 months. Just see what's activities going on. Still good activity. See, these price points are still damn good for smaller parcels. Okay, so you have a 1.23 acre lot, right? It's 55,000. Okay, so 55K. Now, you bought that for, let's say, 25 or 30K. You're still making pretty good money,
Right.
So that's actually pretty good. I like that. 1.82 acres, sold for 115,000. Yeah, so you could actually go down in acreage size around here and still be pretty successful. The one thing I will say with that is you're going to have more data, right? You're going to be pulling a lot more properties because there's a lot more 2 acre properties and 1 acre properties than there are 5 acres and 10 acres and so on, right?
Are those Georgia properties?
Geneva County. Did I pull up Georgia?
Yeah, I'm looking at the address down.
You know why? Because I typed it in, but it never went.
Okay. Okay.
Check this out. You ready? I was Coweta County. Pretty good county too.
Right.
No, Geneva. Actually, Geneva County AL.
Yeah, 4th to the bottom. There you go.
Let's start again. Okay. All right. So actually, I don't know if you guys know this, but Georgia had just changed their some rules with what they do, and when you mail Georgia, you now have to have a disclaimer on the front of the letter. Pretty pretty big thing. So if you're going to mail Georgia, you actually have to come up with a new letter and envelope for it. So just bear that in mind if you ever plan to mail Georgia.
Yeah, appreciate that, because I got a few zip codes I was going to mail in Georgia. So yeah, I'm glad you said that.
Just avoid it because Rocketprint's not even going to send it unless you have it.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll have to create a new letter and all that stuff. So just hold off. It actually even matters for, let's say somebody owns a property in Alabama and they live in Georgia. They will not mail to them.
Oh, wow.
Even if you're trying to buy a property that's owned in Alabama, because their mailing address is in Georgia.
Okay.
So that's a recent Georgia change. All right, let's start back over. So let's go 5 to 10s again and see this one. Okay. So this is 6 months. All right. So we got 12K an acre. We got 5K, 10K. All right. So we know about this Land Insights thing. This is also pretty cool. Pebble. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but you could save all these in here. And you could kind of like remove some of them. You kind of sort this. What I do is this. If you go here, we'll sort this by lot size. And then we go here. We could clear all, save all. It'll be sorted by lot size as well here. So you could just kind of quickly view this.
Nice.
And see what the acreages are trading for. So obviously this is a low outlier. So we'll take that baby out. And these are actually for sale. Why is it saying for sale? Sold. No, it's all sold.
Yeah.
It's weird. Okay, let's go back to that. All right, so 5, 10. Look at these. You got a lot of these are trading for 5K an acre in the larger parts. This is a double. So let's take that guy out. Let's remove this one. Low acre, low, high. Let's see. So now I'm going to look at these and see what's going on here. 5 acres, nice road. So a couple spots in this county, just so you know too. There's a lot of like low spots. They won't show up on flood maps, but a lot of times they do flood. So sometimes you'll come across that when you get a property in. Just check around and ask, like, look at the water table, look at local area, like local water like spots, like it has ponds and things like that. Check the water level. If it says like 800 feet, then check your property. If your property is like 780, 790, more than likely it's going to get water pooling on it. Okay. So that's another tip. It's pretty common in this area, specifically this county, actually. I don't know why.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so this sold fast. Look, this is listed and it sold for over ask. So they priced this wrong for damn sure. For it to sell like that, which is crazy. Okay. And they even sold it for 12K an acre. Wow. That must have been a really good property.
Yeah.
Let's check this one. 5
So
acres.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
When you're looking at properties for outliers, good or bad, are you looking at power lines, utilities, road frontage? Like what's the main thing you're looking at when you see a property that's sold for a higher price?
So all the above. So this one sold for lower. Why did this property sell for lower, do you think, than something that was like the last one that was sold for 12K an acre that was like nice and cleared and pasture?
Yeah, just two things come to mind. It's not cleared, and then they don't have a whole lot of road frontage to access the property.
Mm-hmm. So actually, they have good road frontage. It's definitely not that. But here's the thing: when you look at this parcel, see how all this has timber on it, but it's new growth timber.
Gotcha.
It's a lot of like kudzu, new growth timber, things like that. That means they clear cut this property and didn't do anything to it. Like didn't replant it, didn't remove the stumps and stuff like that. So this type of property is actually the lowest valued property because of all the work you'd have to do just to get it back to its current value. So to make this like a nice property, you either have to completely clear it, remove all the stumps, and then, you could farm it, plant grass, whatever you want to do, or you have to trim it, clear it, plant trees so that they'll grow and look like the property behind it, right? So the reason why this sold for so little is because it was recently clear cutted. So you can see all its young pines and stuff like that. So since it was recently clear cut, it's the lowest value versus something that was cleared intentionally, stumps removed, and now it's ready to actually be, like farmed or whatever the case may be. So I'm going to pop that one out because it is a low outlier, meaning that it traded for lower than it should be because of poor factors and the fact that they didn't do anything with it. Okay, so let's look at this one. This is just a terrible listing. When you see a listing like that, it's like, what happened? Let's see how fast it sold, just because it sold super friggin' fast, even considering. So terrible listing, still sold in a month. So I think playing in this like $30,000, $40,000 range is actually going to be a really good sweet spot for you. Let's go here. So let's see, any high outliers. So we got some 85s, we got some 10s. Let's see what this one is. 10 acre. So usually if it shows like this type of picture, that just means that the pictures are taken down from the MLS. It probably had pictures at some point. So if origin sold, okay. Let's see how fast it's sold. Looks just like a normal basic lot. Public record sale, so I would take that one off. Stewart Road.
So that's just an off-market sale then?
Yeah, just listed off market. So it could have been interfamily transfer, something like that, or they sold it to a friend and then it just gets recorded after the fact.
Gotcha.
So I don't love to use those as comps, but yeah. Okay, so why would this one sell for more than that other property? What do you see about this that makes it like, oh, okay, this is probably a better property?
Looks like it's been cleared intentionally, maybe. Let me see. Maybe, I was going to say maybe a hunting area. Still got trees in the back of it, so may entice some hunters, seasonally.
Yep. So this is cleared. It's intentional, and it looks like it's maintained without, overgrowth or anything like that. I mean, obviously some long grass and stuff like that, but nothing that's like no big trees or big timber or like saplings or anything like that. It has this right here has an electrical service on the lot. So it has a meter and everything ready to go.
Gotcha.
So basically somebody could drop a trailer right here and live on this property tomorrow if they wanted. Right. So this is a good indicator, like that. Obviously you have utility right there. Let me check the listing. This might have other stuff too. So country not too far, 12 miles from Geneva. Property comes with two parcels, okay. Total acres. He enjoyed the ability to hunt his own land. Life took him a different path. Got a great size acreage. Property did as well. Yeah, so look, property already has a well, septic tank, and electric. So it's move-in ready, essentially, right? You could just drop a house on it and live. Right. So that one is a high outlier. So that's good to know. Like if you're marketing in this area and you come across something and the guy's like, oh, I have septic well and this, it'll trade instead of for like 6,500, it might trade for 10K an acre just because it has that type of stuff. And yeah, so overall, I mean, just looking at this real quick, I'd say the median or average price is about 7,500 an acre. And depending on where you're going to price it, you probably want to offer, 3,500 an acre to 4K an acre, depending on where you want to be. I'd say probably closer to 3,500 an acre for this range. Is what I would think. Are you planning to market at 50% of market? Is that kind of your goal?
Yeah, I was looking at 47, and I watched one of Sumner's videos, and he said he wasn't a real big fan of doing anything less than, sounded like 50, 55. And I guess it's going to vary for each market. But yeah, 50%. And I had about 74, 75 as the acre range or median price. So mine was pretty close to what you got in there as well.
Yeah, that's close. So you're good. So I think that's for the 5 to 10s. I like that. I would say definitely expand your range a little bit. I would market the stuff that's a buy for like 15, 20, just to pick some of that lower end of the market up. If you have to pull more data for that, I think it's advisable.
Yeah.
That's probably, so let's say, I mean, you're talking about, that's pretty much in this range. So maybe expanding it to like 4 acres. I don't know if you pulled up to 4 acres or not.
No, I did 5 to 40, so I'll have to go back and pull that.
All right, so let's check this out. Let's go 3 to 5 real quick and just see what 3 to 5 is doing. All right, so you got some action in the 3 to 5. We've seen a couple of these already. So you got 4 acres for 35, 45, 39. So they're still trading about 10K an acre around this price range.
Okay.
So you could still make some good money if you're buying a 3.5 acre property and you're selling it for 35K. You pick that up for like 15K, you're going to do pretty good. Now, when it gets to the smaller properties, I want to, like I said, offer a little bit less than 50% because I need to make that spread to cover my costs. So you might send out a letter, might add like 200 or 300 properties to your mailing, but they're going to be like, you're going to mail them a letter for $15,000, and then you're going to be able to turn that around and sell it for 35, right? So it's like a 20K spread. If you're bringing in a realtor and everything like that, you're going to make probably 10K on that, right? If you're bringing in a funder and stuff like that, then, if you're going to self-list, bring in a funder, you'll still probably pull out 10K. That's pretty damn good, especially because, if you're sending out 1,500 letters, that's going to cost you $750 around that. Then boom, you're making, what's that, like 8x ROAS, return on ad spend?
Yeah.
So if you get one deal, right? That's pretty good.
So
Yeah. So it might be good to add some of these like 2, I would say like 3 acres. I don't know if I would go to, let's see what 2 acres are doing. Remember, as you get smaller, the prices condense. So you could still make a good spread even on a 2 acre parcel, as long as the numbers are there. Look at this thing sold for 120K for a 2.5 acre. Why?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you that, man. So when you're in Land Insights, you're doing your cursory market research, like, are you going through each acreage band to see which one, or are you just coming straight to Redfin to see who has the which band has most quantity sold already?
I'm going to look at, so what Land Insights allows me to do is take hours and hours of a process and condense it down to a microscopic view. So I could shorten up this time like by hours into minutes. And then I take that and then I'm like, okay, I found a few good markets. Let me go deep dive into those markets.
Yeah.
Because if not, I'd get lost and I'm looking at 1,000 different markets, trying 1,000 different things. At the end of the day, like, this helps me hone in and just say, okay, these are the markets I want to look at. Now let me look into them a little bit further. And that's when I start looking into here and I'm like, okay, let me look at what the 1 acres are doing. Let me look at the half acres. Let me look at the 2 acres, the 20 acres, all that stuff. There's some areas that like we marketed to because infill lots are selling for 120K. So we're like, we should just do them because we could buy for 60, sell for 120. Yeah, it's an infill lot, but it's so straightforward. Just do it.
Yeah.
So there's some of those as well. So, yeah, I'll look at that. So I'll pick a market from Land Insights, then I'll go in and I'll actually look at everything. And I look at the velocity too. How fast is this how fast are these properties selling, right? Not necessarily just days on market, but days to pending. So look at this. So March So we got March 23rd. They priced it at 75. They waited a month, didn't get any interest, so they dropped it to 64. Look, 64 within 10 days they went pending.
Yeah.
So if they would have priced at 64 in the beginning, they would have sold it super quick. You could tell this is a land flipper too. They bought it for 40. January 15th, they bought it for 40. And they went and sold it right away.
Yeah.
So yeah, even these are pretty good deals. So I would even extend to maybe 3 to 4 acres. I would add into your mailer and maybe take some of the top end off and just mail some of the low end.
Yep.
Just a thought.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's look at this. What else do you want to look at in this market? Do you want to look at some of the other ranges, like pricing?
Yeah, man. Can we look at 10 to 20?
Yeah. So 10 to 20. And just so you know, I'm only going back 6 months right now when I'm looking at this stuff. And the reason why I'm only going back 6 months is just because the market's changed a little bit. It's softened just a touch. And the only reason why it's softened is because of the election cycle, which is common. I've been in real estate 15 years. Every single presidential election, there's a softening that happens from May all the way through November, and then it just turns back on.
Yeah.
It's just very common. Your lead flow slows down, and your dispo slows down. Just happens. But it's still good to be in the market because if you're getting the mail out, November comes, these people are calling you again to sell because now they're like, hey, president got elected, let's talk. Happens all the time.
Yeah.
So don't be scared. But I look at the 6 months because it shows that softening. So when you're pricing now, if the market does shift and it goes down a little bit when people are calling in, you'll at least have already like adjusted for that a little bit.
Yeah.
But when I do price, like I will price like 1 year and take a look at everything. But for this, let's just look at 6 months right now. All right, so we only got 12 on here. All right, let's do this. So lot size, let's clear all, save all. Okay, so we got a bunch of lows. We got a high. Let's check this high out. 11.15%, 214. Doesn't really say much. Public record. Okay. We'll just take that guy off. Trash that. We got a low outlier. Let's see what happened here. Vacant lot sold. Okay. And then we got public records. We'll take that off. Like I said, public records, I usually try to just remove.
So let me ask you this, Dennis. Are you just using this right here, or are you extracting the data? Are you downloading it and putting it in the spreadsheet and doing your average, minimum, maximum deal?
Yeah, we are. We're going to download the data. We're going to do min-max. We're going to go through all that stuff, everything. Like kind of like how we did my pricing the other day. Okay. For this I'm just doing right now, it's just a quick sniff test, just to see if we get like a approximate pricing.
Gotcha.
That's all. As we are now, we go into much more detail. For our pricing, we basically separate the county into 4 quadrants and then price based on those quadrants. And then depending on that, we actually even chop up an individual zip code into 4 quadrants and price that out as well. So I don't recommend doing that now. You're not ready for that. It's kind of like a lot. And I have a team that does it. So it's a lot easier to, have them do that. All right, so overall, I think that's pretty good. We are at, let's go back to this. So median price, 6,200. That seems about good. If you were 7,500, then you roll down to 6,200. Around that, what are you at?
Said 75 to 62. I'm at 6,070.29 on my numbers.
Yeah, so I'm right there, 6,200, right there. Yeah. That's just a matter of me taking out one deal. Look, I went a little low, but yeah, that's all it is. So that's good. Okay, cool. So I would actually probably stay in that range. Like I wouldn't go any further than that. So you got 20 acres times 6,500. You're talking about 130K. You could probably push, maybe go 25 acres, 30 acres if you wanted. It'll still be less than a it'll still be less than couple on like less than 200,000 purchase exit price. Yeah, actually you might be all right. I would even go for, let's see. Let's add this real quick. Clear all, save all. These are trading pretty good. I'm going to just delete that because it's high, high, high. Couple lows, but not low. Let's check out this one. It's probably public record, most likely. Yeah, public record. Okay. Cool. So let's take that one out. And we'll just take that one out too. So this is at 5,600, 5,400. It's like 5,500.
Yeah. I'm at 5304.17.
Bro, you're crushing it. Yeah, it's right on the money, man. That's where you want to be.
All right, cool.
Cool. Let me check something actually. I want to check out my pricing real quick and pull up one of my sheets. I want to see what I priced this at. All right, cool. So what else you got going on? I think your pricing is good on that. That county's solid. I would just add in some lower ranges.
Okay.
Personal opinion, you can do whatever you want though. If you want to keep it as is, do that. If you don't want to mess with those little properties, no more power to you. It's just try to get you as many deals as you can early on, right?
Yeah. Now I think you made a good use case, man, for going after those, 2 to 3 acre properties as well. And my biggest thing, man, I think was like cadence. So like Mondays, I'm trying to do my market Mondays. Tuesday, extract data from data tree, upload it into Land Insights. Wednesday, I'm looking at pricing. Thursday, kind of putting everything together, putting eyes on it, and then waiting a day to Friday.
Okay.
To make sure, and then going kind of spot checking everything. It's kind of what I have in my head, and then sending it off to the mail house on Friday. So, I mean, what kind of cadence are you guys? Because I need some sort of process. I'm more process driven, so I have something every week, same thing.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we have like a what do we have? So I'm just going to show you real quick. This is like how we just set it up in our drive. So we have step 1, scrub, price, review, RTM, schedule for mail. That's kind of like our 5-step. So what we'll do is every Monday we update our KPIs. And then after Mondays, we basically go into she'll go into market selection. And once she goes into market selection, she gives me a tab and then I approve or disapprove any marketing. Once I approve marketing, that's when she sends it through the ringer. Then she'll pull the data, get the scrubbing going, pricing, everything like that. And the goal, we just set like a goal, like, hey, let's get this many pieces out per month. Whether it's, my goal is, I'd rather, instead of like trying to hit hard and fast numbers on a Friday, I just want to hit hard and fast numbers every month. So I don't want to rush something just to push it out, just to say we mailed them, right? I want to make sure I'm priced right. I want to make sure we're scrubbed the right way. We're reviewing everything the right way. So, yeah. So this is how she did this county. So if we take a look at here, what we do is we actually split this up into 3 quadrants. So we got quadrant 1 is up in this right-hand corner, which is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. And then she has 3 zip groups. So we have zip group 1, zip group 2, and zip group 3. She kind of separates out different zip codes into different groups.
Nice.
So sold data. So these are our 3 pricing points. So the 3 to 10s, we're at 11,000 group 1. Group 2, we're at 3 to 99, we're at 8,700. And 3, so actually this one she went all the way up to 20, is at 5,700 in group 3. So group 3 is this whole section over here. So that's how she did that.
It's pretty dope right there.
Yeah. Yeah, she parses it out into all these groups and then kind of goes through everything. It's pretty intense, actually. I don't know. She spends a lot of time pricing. So she gets close, man. She gets really really close to a lot of them. That's the goal, right? So yeah, you could see sort by A to Z, A to Z. All right, so the smallest we mailed on this one was 7.5 acres.
Okay.
And the lowest offer we sent out was 47K. Or actually, I'm sorry, let's check the lowest we sent out was 40,000 with a market price of 73.46. So yeah. And we mailed that. When did we do this? So we mailed this in, I think this was recent. This is definitely recent. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, that's basically what we'll look at when we're doing it. We kind of break it down. Like she did this little section, this whole section, this whole section. Because sometimes, like, especially during like when you're closer to a bigger city like this, pricing is going to go up sometimes.
Yeah.
Depending on your access, closer to highways, things like that. So pretty cool. All right. What else you got? You got 15 more minutes for me. A few more minutes. So, yeah.
No, I appreciate that, man. I kind of mimic my stuff off of what you guys had, just like the baseline stuff from looking in your video. And it's helped out quite a bit, man, because I was kind of everywhere. But when you're scrubbing your list, so I see you got number one is scrub. So are you pre-scrubbing it before you put it in Land Insights, or are you scrubbing it again after once you take it out and then upload it into Google Drive for like churches, farmland, chamber of commerce, city or county owned stuff?
So I do things different. The Land Insights is awesome for scrubbing because what it does is it gets out like a bunch of the junk, right? But what I do a lot of things different. And the reason what I do is I pull all the data and then I keep all the data. And what I'm doing is I sort everything. I have 20 different factors I scrub for, right? So I'm going to mark properties like different types of properties or different ranges, right? So like a property that's over a certain acreage size and has double-sided road frontage and no structures, old growth timber, I'm going to mark that as a prime property because that's the type of property that's like subdividable, double-sided lot, more, whatever. It's a better property. So I'm going to mark that as a prime. And then 2 is like your good normal, regular road frontage, all that stuff. Then like we have like landlocked, wetlands, this and that, all this stuff, right? So I don't scrub it out. I just give it a label. I basically tag everything. Okay. And once I tag something, then I'm only mailing my primes and my good normals on my mail, right? So I'll pull those out, mail those. And then once I've done that, later on, I take all the landlocked properties from every single county we mailed, and we're sending them a neutral letter and just saying, hey, if you have access, we'd like to talk to you and buy your property. But if you don't have access, you're beat, whatever. Basically that. So I didn't want to get rid of them. I just want to put them in the back burner so that I could do like a campaign of like 50,000 landlocked properties, just send out a neutral letter and just see who calls in. I know we're probably going to get a lot of fluff and a lot of people that are like, whatever, but maybe we'll pull 1 or 2 deals out. I did one deal. I made 220 grand on it because it looked like it was landlocked. It was not landlocked. It had an easement. So that's what I do. I also separate anything that says mobile home parks or has like a mobile home or more on it. And I take that, I mail that in a separate way. Any odd shaped properties, we'll pull that out and we're going to mail that in a separate way. So I do things different, basically what it comes down to. Just getting started, Land Insights is the ideal way to go. It's going to get rid of all the fluff and the bad properties. And then, you could do that and then go into a deeper scrub if you wanted later on. It's totally up to you. But for now, I don't think it's really worth it for you.
No, yeah, I'm just trying to get the momentum going right now, man. Yeah. I guess my last question, man. Like I said, I'm in coaching, zero to hero. I'm going through that.
Nice
mindset. Well, starting off, man, for a newbie, like what's some key critical points that I would need to keep in mind, man, as I'm getting ready to send my first mailer out. And to your point, I didn't want to just rush. I could have rushed and threw up 5,000. I'm trying to be methodical and approximate with my pricing as best I can. But from here, moving from today, where do I need to go? What type of mindset do I need to have?
And so you got to think in blocks of time. Okay. A lot of people think like, I need to get this done this week. I need to get this done this week, next week, things like that. You got to think of larger blocks of time. Okay. When you're doing this kind of business, it's really going to take you 6 months to kind of start seeing some success.
Yeah.
As far as like, because there's cash conversion cycles, basically when I put mail in the door, out the door, I'm not going to see that coming back on the other side. Could take 2 months, could take 6 months, but on average, we see 5 to 6 months, right? So build out a big enough pipeline of funds to fund mailers for at least 6 months. Right. So, I have enough funds to mail for the next 6 months. And if you start seeing early on success, then you could pump a little bit more, maybe pull some from the, 5 months, 5 and 6, put it on the front end. So you have more leads in the front end. You can do that. But I would definitely say build out a good 6-month plan in a way, like where you want to be. Number one thing is really budgeting enough money for consistent mail. Like, you don't want to send out 2,500 and then nothing for a month, then send out 5,000, then nothing for a month, then 10,000, then nothing. It doesn't work well. You want to, it's much better to consistently say like, I'm going to send 1,000 a week every week for the next, 26 weeks and just see how it plays out. If you consistently do that, that's 26,000 pieces of mail. That's going to cost you $13,000, but you'll definitely see return on that. You'll get at least 3 deals, more than likely. Especially if you're playing with the lower ticket stuff, you probably get a lot more than 3 deals.
Yeah.
So that's my main suggestion is plan for the future. Don't just plan for today.
All right, cool, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I got my wife working with me on she's gonna be
awesome.
So she's a realtor out here in Alabama.
Sweet.
Crazy thing is, man, they got so many different MLSs that she doesn't have access to all of Alabama. So
no,
which is crazy.
Same thing. Jersey's the same way. Jersey is like this big, and it's like we have like 8 or 10 different MLSs, and they don't all like talk to each other. It's like, what a scam, man. They really get you going. Like, it should be one MLS. It should be the Alabama MLS. It should be the freaking, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Right.
So that's cool for you though, man. You get these properties, you go walk them yourself.
Yes, sir.
Are you focusing just on Alabama, or are you going to do other places too?
No, man. Shoot, I had Georgia, but that's marked off for right now. Missouri, North Carolina. I got Buckingham, Virginia. Mm-hmm. So, pull some data from those states, man. But right now, backyard looks like it's hot. I see a couple of other LIA members out there working in Alabama, man. So, go for the low end.
We've hit a couple Alabama counties. I think it's definitely good. And then Buckingham, Virginia. You might want to just double check that and put it on pause. It's a lot of activity over there. Okay. A lot of people have mailed it. I mailed Buckingham. I got 0 responses, not even a FU. So, if I didn't even get that, then it's like, okay, something's going on here. So just be wary of that. It's a good county. The numbers are great. Yeah. I just think that I think it is a hot county, and what's happening is a lot of people are just going direct to a realtor and listing it. They're not looking for the cash sales.
Yeah.
So, but there are LIA members still pulling a couple deals out here and there. Maybe just put your dollars towards something else. And I would look at too, like, don't look at the hottest markets. Look at the up and coming hot markets, right? And that's where it comes down to like narrowing your point of view with Land Insights, and then taking that and then going to actually look at it like we just did today. Look at how it's tracking, how it's trending, how things are moving.
Yeah.
If you see some good action, man, go for it.
Okay. So, yeah, that's good segue. Last thing, man. So in Land Insights, I know there's no hard and fast on like 6-month STR, pending STR, all of that stuff, man. So have you seen that for the up and coming markets? Are you loosening your metrics for a lot of those to get into those particular markets, man, that maybe not as well known to land investors?
Yeah, I actually, so what I do things like I kind of look at stuff a little bit different, right? Because if there's a lot of sold properties, like there, let's say there was a lot of sold properties, but there's nothing for sale, there's something going on there, right? What that really means is when I look at that market, there's a lot of properties that have sold, and I go in there and I look, and they're going like you're listing it on March 1st and it's under contract by March 7th. Then what does that tell you, right? There's a lot of demand, but there's no supply.
Right.
Think about the housing market, right? When a property goes on the market and 50 people go to the open house, right? Why is that happening? It's not because the property is beautiful. It's not because the price is right. It's because there's no supply. There's too many buyers for that one property. So the same thing is true when it comes to land. If you're looking at stuff and you're seeing stuff that's like, hey, look, this county is looking, like it's got a lot of sold data, but there's zero for sale. The STR is going to be like super high. It's going to be like 300%. Most people just write that off. Be like, oh, that sucks because it's whatever. You got to look at that because that might be a market that there's a ton of demand but zero supply, and you could go in there and start providing that supply. So go in there, get properties, bring them to market, become the market maker essentially. And then what's going to happen is everybody else is going to start seeing, oh man, this county's hot. There's tons of sold, tons of for sales. You've already made your money and you're going on to the next one, right? And then they're now mailing that county like, we got to get what Arnell had, whatever.
Right.
But that little tip right there, that's going to help you kind of like pick markets that a lot of people might not even see.
Yeah, appreciate
So,
that, man.
yeah, it's definitely one. I don't want to give you all the sauce on this, but we'll give you some more. Don't worry.
Hey.
But yeah, man, there's a ton of good things here. So, let's do this. I want to schedule another one of these days. Let's talk again.
Okay.
Let's get some mail out the door, and then let's talk about some of the things you've done, and let's keep going. I think we should do this every couple weeks. You hop back on. Let's talk about it. Let's see where we're at. We'll discuss leads and whatever you got going on.
All right, man. Cool. I appreciate your time, brother, man. And congrats to you and Rob, man. You guys blew up. So
appreciate it, man. Yeah, we're trying. We just onboarded an awesome acquisitions manager, and we just added him into everything. We're getting him going, man. And I think that's going to be like our ascension to really go crazy. So, which is good. The more crazy I go, the better I can help everybody else. It's like really what it comes down to, man. So, but yeah, man, I appreciate that. I really do. So, cool. Let me end the stream, and then let's. Any caution to look when the STR is super high, like 1,500%. So yeah, okay. If the STR is super high, that means there's a ton of properties selling, but maybe there's no properties that have sold. So you got to look at that. But if maybe there was like one property that sold, well, that's no good. You want to see like there's like 10 or 15 properties that sold, and there's nothing that's sold in past or for sale. Well, that's something you should look into. So, yeah. Cool. All right, guys. I'll see you all next week. Have a good one.
Peace.